My name is Augustinas Balaišis, and I try to write, my pronunciation Augustinas and Balaišis. So this is a really nice image of me. Just a short introduction. I believe that all of you can read. Probably the most important things that I would like to mention that in the Vytautas Magnus University, I work in different faculties. I work with the students of creative industries, new media art, music production, Lithuanian language and publishing, marketing, and art studies. So kind of a broad variety, and probably the biggest challenge that I have every single day is how to involve students into the lectures, how to make the lecture, interesting, and how to be accurate, because, the attention spans and in today's society and in the young generation it's a really, really short period of time. Like if you don't have their attention, probably you are lost. As well, right now, I'm currently looking and seeking for the university where I could do my PhD. And actually, I'm working with people with special needs with easy to read language. And also looking for the remote opportunities for the PhD. So if you have something in mind, please contact me, and you can contact me via LinkedIn. So I'm going to just paste my link to the LinkedIn right here. So you just can click connect button, and let's keep in touch. So it was a short introduction about myself. And the next thing I would like to ask you is to use Slido platform, and we are going to use it for questions, probably the highest ranked questions that you will have. You can rank them. You can write the questions. You can be anonymous. You don't have to state your name in the Slido platform, but you can rank the questions, and hopefully the most ranked questions will be answered in the end of the webinar. So the password is algorithm. So just type in Slido, and the password is algorithm. So I would like to check if you could just type in any questions to see if the platform is responding. Okay, hi. Okay, what's your favorite AI tool? Okay, so we already have some of the questions. Okay, thank you. So the platform is working. So once more, if you want to participate in the webinar like 100%, you should go and type in Slido, and the password is algorithm, and you can rank the questions, and hopefully I will be able to answer all of them in the end of the webinar. So today's training objectives. So there are a couple of those. I would like to introduce to the AI tools for the education. Probably we could have discussions. Maybe you could give some questions or feedback, or we can just have a kind of a short chat about the kind of situations that or issues we may have during the different period of time. For example, if we talk about the COVID period and the remote teaching, then we had different issues. Now we have totally other issues, so I'm going to cover that as well. I would like to demonstrate the artificial intelligence impact on education. I believe that this thing is the artificial intelligence is a great opportunity to us to improve ourselves, to make our lectures and lessons more attractive. And I'm going to, I believe that we don't have so much time, but I hope that I can show you a couple of exercises. We are going to have a couple of exercises in the practical use of AI tools. So I hope it goes well. Of course, the other thing which is really important, and I would say that the ethical issues and also practical issues and considerations that we have. It's really important because the biggest and the most famous universities in the world, what they are doing right now, they also trying to find the way of how to work with artificial intelligence and how to help or sometimes maybe they are thinking of banning of artificial intelligence, like Italy had an issue like 1 year ago, and OpenAI corporation, they managed to answer all the questions that the Italian government asked. So yeah, famous universities right now, what they do, they actually write the manifests. They write the manifests of how to work with a AI. So what does it mean? Actually, that means that the technology is changing really, really quickly, and if you write some rules, so like in a couple of weeks, like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, it is going to be old. So manifests, I think it helps to keep it up to date. And actually, those manifests, they have expiration date. So it's kind of an interesting concept as well. And of course, one of the probably the most important training objectives is to inspire you with new teaching ideas, with the creativity. And yeah, we will see. Okay, we will see. So probably it would be important to start with the problems that actually with the challenges that we have in the across all of the European Union regions. And it's when I was preparing for this webinar, for me it was kind of a difficult to to find all the information and to put into the specific order. So I was thinking how should I put it, but I would probably say that we should start with a digital divide, right? So the digital divide, and what information I found, that, for example, that in the Eastern Europe, actually, we have digital skills, and but still we have significant gap, between urban and rural areas, despite the fact that usually, even in Lithuania, actually, we do have a really, fast internet. We are really happy about it. We have, a big IT literacy. But on the other hand, when I meet with the students, sometimes for them it's hard to divide, or to see to name which hand is right and which hand is left, and how to move the mouse pointer. What are the the shortcuts on the keyboard? So this is the divide is it's a really, really broad word. It's a broad term, but on the other hand, we have some issues. And in the Southern Europe, the digital infrastructure is improving, but at the same time, the many schools are really struggling to implement the new technologies, and they have big limitations in the budgets, and this is also kind of a big problem. The other thing is, of course, the unequal access to the quality of the education. And in Western Europe and the Northern, so probably I should start from the Northern Europe. We have good experiences in the education, in the field of education, in the field of preparing, the tutors, teachers, lecturers, professors. So yeah, the North is really well known for education system. But at the same time, in the really rural areas like north, and shortages of well-trained teachers, adequate education resources. So at the same time, yeah, they are famous by innovating the education system, but still have some of the issues. And the Western Europe, they have a really good network of the high-quality schools. But the social inequity and migration creates other problems. Yeah, probably I should go with globalization and migration. So in the Southern Europe, we see that a lot of there is a lot of movement, and there is a big need of the multicultural and multilingual education programs. So there is a gap and necessity of that too. Western Europe also have the increased migration challenges, and probably the integrating migrant students into the educational system as well. So yeah, in Lithuania we have a kind of a hot topic. We have a big shortages of a teacher. We have a pensioners who are unable to leave. Unable to leave the system, and yeah, actually we're struggling to find the professionals who would like to join this teachers profession due to poor working conditions, probably the salaries, low salaries, and other factors as well. At the same time, the Southern Europe has some economic challenges. They're growing, we hear a lot of cases. I have some colleagues from the south, and they speak about burnouts. They are burning out. They are working really high hours, and actually, yeah, this affects us, all of us, as well. So the last thing, probably, I would like to talk about the problems, because I don't want to be really pessimistic about it, because I hope that somehow I could motivate you and to help you use more AI tools in your teaching strategies and tactics. So last thing is probably I would like to cover, it's the Eastern Europe probably, and the inclusive education, is that there are some challenges in creating environments and catering the needs of students with disabilities. So as I mentioned before, I work with people with special needs. Actually, 2 years ago, I was looking for that topic that I could work with. So I went to Estonia, to Tallinn, to Academy of Fine Arts, and actually I spent there 1 week on my Erasmus Plus teaching visit there. And actually, I'm really thankful to Estonian crew, to Estonian faculty of arts, that they helped me to find the topic that I'm working already 2 years now. So yeah, people with special needs, with disabilities, with reading issues and other things, not only the movement, moving disabilities. And the last thing is Western Europe, when the policies are promoting inclusively and are advanced, actually the schools are still facing the difficulties how to provide the special supports as well with the disabled people. So these are the problems, of course, not all the problems that we have, but probably, yeah, digital divide. We can talk about digital divide from both sides, from the professor side and from the student side. Also, shortages, the burnouts, unequal access of quality education, and other things. But I hope and I believe that the appearance of AI, of artificial intelligence, it might help us to improve our own working conditions. It can help us to save time. Actually, I was trying to find, to count how many hours I save a day using AI. So I tried different methods, and I realized that I save at least 2 hours per day. So it goes to almost 10 hours per week. So 40 hours per month. I think it's a big number, especially for me, when I have so many students, so many lectures, and yeah, it helps me a lot to prepare, the lectures, prepare the tasks, prepare, the workshops, even assess the student work. So yeah, but I'm going to cover that in a minute. All right, so I think it's enough to talk about the problems, and we could move forward to probably introduction to AI in education. And yeah, artificial intelligence in education. Probably, the question that we all have is, what is going to happen next? How long we are going to be working as a professors in the universities, in the schools? Because it seems like that, by the, expansion of artificial intelligence, everything is going to change really, really quickly. But yeah, I just want to point some of the things. So if we look at the artificial intelligence in general, actually, I would say I think it's a wrong term to call the current AI platforms to call them artificial intelligence, because they are like a big learning language models. So they have access to the big data, and they are like Google, algorithms finding, the answers to our prompts. So yeah, why should we be worried about appearance of AI? I would say yes and no. I would say yes on one hand that we should be worried, because if we want to stay in this in education field, we have to use AI tools. There is a famous writer, Twila Tharp, and once I remember that I read her article, and she said, that in the future there will be battle between human and artificial intelligence teams, but the strongest team will be human team who is using artificial intelligence tools. So it's kind of like a symbiosis, right? It's a big thing to adopt early, adopt all the tools, because I think it's a really important thing to start early. So when we talk about the AI in the education, I would say that this is more than just automation, right? It's about the innovation, how we see it. And yeah, if I can speak openly, I remember that once I was once asked to cover a lecture, and professor, he said that here is the slides, and you just have to go open the slides and read the slides and give the lecture to the students. So what I did, I took the slides. Then I had some time to prepare, so I uploaded the slides to OpenAI's ChatGPT, and I asked, I wrote the prompt, and I asked ChatGPT to improve, the slides. And when I realized with the latest examples, with the facts, with scientific articles, I asked to make the tasks for the particular lecture, and I was actually shocked how accurate this was. And of course, every single time you have to check, you have to doubt constantly. I would say you shouldn't be like 100% sure of the answer that you get from the language model. But yeah, I was really happy. So yeah, on the other hand, if you don't want to be worried and you are sure that you probably will be able to be professor for for all of your lifetime, yeah, I think it's also a good idea. But I would say that you also have to be really accurate to see how it goes, because in the past couple of years, what we've seen that AI tools like Midjourney, like DALL-E 3, like Leonardo AI, and other, for example, they took the part in the artistry field. They were painters, they were graphic designers, they created the visuals and other stuff. And these tools they are powerful, but probably from the side, when we watch the evolution of AI, I would say that we believe that I don't want AI to make the paintings. No, I want to make paintings by myself. I don't want to AI to write, the book. I want to write a book by myself. So I think that the other really important keyword is robotics. And if we compare, for example, like United States of America and Europe, so I should mention that we have totally different laws in a field of employees. And employees, in US, it's kind of easier to fire an employee if you want to. In Europe, it's kind of a different situation. And I would say it's just my point of view, just my prediction. It might be that I'm wrong, but I would say that robotics and androids they would be more successful in US than in EU, than in European Union, because here we have different laws for the employees, and EU is defending the laws of our employees as well. So yeah, I would say that Americans they are going to go further in the robotics, and we're going to see more examples there, but not here in EU. Okay, so today's goal is for you to show how you can make uh, your teaching process more attractive, probably more interactive, and probably more personalized for your students. And of course, every one of us, we have different challenges. Maybe, when I was talking about the challenges that we have nowadays in European unions, maybe you couldn't nod and say, yes, we do have these challenges. Maybe you have totally different challenges as well. So I would like to start today's webinar with a quick question. And if you go to the Slido poll, you would, just in a minute, you will see the question, have you used any AI tools in your teaching? So I'm just going to press the play button and we will see how it goes. So you have the question in the Slido poll, and please answer your questions. So I'm going just to make a 1-minute break, and I want to see your answers on a Slido platform. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, so a lot of you said that no, no, no. Some of you did say yes. Somebody answered that ChatGPT only started recently. Okay. For those who answered yes, if you could be more specific, what kind of AI tools you did use? Yeah, not really. Beyond Google search and checking, students did not use ChatGPT for their dissertations. Okay, I think it's a good point. Yes, I have used the ChatGPT to show how it can fail. Okay, good point. Yeah, actually, we have not only ChatGPTs, we have a Gemini, we have Claude, we have totally different tools where you can do all the small tasks with the daily issues that you have. Yeah, yes, ChatGPT, and yeah. So for those who haven't used, I hope that you are going to use those tools, because I believe that it might it might help you. It might help you to save some time, or even sometimes find some interesting facts, some interesting resources that you can implement or add to your lectures, to your presentations. Okay, I see some of the participants are still typing, so let's wait for 1 minute more. Yeah, sometimes I use Copilot. Yeah, Copilot is also a really interesting thing of the Microsoft, and yeah, actually, it's a great probably command because I'm not sure how about you, but I've started to use Google less and Bing search engine more because if you have a OpenAI account, so you can connect your OpenAI account with your Bing Microsoft account, and it's really interesting experience when you are, let's say, Googling the international term, like when you're looking for the information on the Bing, you can chat with the ChatGPT and you can sometimes explain what kind of information, what kind of things you are looking for, and actually it helps you to be more precise. It helps you to find the information more accurately, not just for typing the question the keywords as we used to do it before. Okay, and yeah, the last answer is yes. I used ChatGPT to show the latest trends. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Actually, what I found myself, maybe I can show you just a really simple example. Yeah, let me stop sharing the slides for a moment. Sorry. Okay, and let me show you just really simple thing like a calculator. So let's say like during the year we have like 365 days. And if we don't invest any time, if we don't invest any minutes in learning how to use artificial intelligence, so we have to multiply it by 0. And what we get, of course, we get 0. But if we have 365 days per year, and if we invest at least, let's say, 15 minutes a day, right? What we get in the end of the year, we get 105 days. Of course, it's even probably more because it divides by 100. But yeah, it's not the 0. It's something, right? So I would say we should invest our time. Actually, what I do, I invest at least 30 minutes per day. So 15 minutes in the morning to read, the latest updates, and 50 minutes in the end of the day. So it's sometimes, there are some days when you see a really big change during the day, and some discoveries are made, some new tools are presented, and when you read the tools, and for example, yesterday I was shocked when my colleague shared a post about how you can create a podcast from your thoughts. I'm not sure how about you guys, but maybe you once or at least twice dreamed about having your own podcast, and but sometimes speaking publicly, or even speaking in the foreign language, or speaking with a colleague, it takes time. It's time consuming. You need to prepare. You need to prepare, and you want to be really specific, exact, and sometimes you don't want to use some words, you don't want to cough like I did, a couple of minutes ago, or make unpleasant pauses. So yeah, it takes time. It's a professional thing, to do a professional podcast. Of course, it can be fixed in post. You can fix it by editing, the audio and other things. But I was shocked when yesterday I just one upload and one prompt, I've got a 16 minutes podcast in English language, really organic, with 2 persons, female and male voice, and I was really pleased, with the result. So if you will be interested in that tool, I can share that in the end of our workshop. Okay, so yeah, I hope that this calculator thing was motivating for you guys, and yeah, let's continue. Let's move on. Okay, so the last answer I've got for the question, that very little. So yeah, we have a divide in the pool of the answers that part of you are using, AI tools, part of you haven't tried. Okay, so we will see where it goes. Okay, so AI tools for interactive learning. So there are a lot of platforms. Probably you know most of them, like Mentimeter, like Slido. Actually, it helps a lot to for example, Mentimeter. It gives a discount for teaching staff. It's a kind of a big discount. Slido as well. You can do the polls. You can draw the charts. You can give a quick question. It helps. It has a possibility to integrate it into the Microsoft's PowerPoint. Yeah, there are so many opportunities, but it's like if we talk about the interactive learning, interactive things. Yeah, on one hand it works, but on the other hand, I tried to do it myself, so I felt like I was like a DJing on the stage, and you have to know every single time. You have to be really precise. You don't have time for mistakes for hitting the wrong button. You have to connect your USB. If you need to, you have to connect you have to be able to connect to your cloud where you save all of your documents and other things. So sometimes it's kind of a challenge when you move from one room to the other room, from one auditorium to the other one, and probably we have some issues probably on all the universities with IT staff, because sometimes, for example, like I do today, I use FreePlane presentation tool, which is based on the mind mapping concept, when we have a lot of balloons and it's not linear. So if I want to, I can go to the other, part of the presentation. I don't have to be really linear. I can skip something if I see if the audience wants to know more or wants to, get covered by, by totally different topic, or maybe they have other questions. So it's a kind of a challenging thing, and I would say that for younger professors, for younger tutors or teachers, it's it might be possible to do it, but for older, tutors or professors, it might be challenging. So actually, it's for me, for my perspective, how I see it. I think it's a really subjective thing, how we see the learning process. For example, myself, I hate PowerPoint because it's linear, and sometimes you just hit next, you see the slide, you hit next, you comment or read some part of the sentences of the slide. But actually, sometimes, for example, in Lithuania, students are really shy. I would call it like a post-Sovietic trauma. Like they are really shy of asking questions. They don't want to be seen like like silly or dumb persons. So sometimes they want to ask the questions, but they are shy to do it. So the platforms as Slido or Mentimeter or other virtual platforms, it helps a lot for students, for especially introverts, to keep their identity safe, and then they are more then they have a possibility to ask the questions. So I would say that if you could possibly look at this concept and think that artificial intelligence could be your teaching assistant, and Microsoft I have written somewhere, but it's not the fact, but it's more than a guess if we talk about money. So there is a opinion, there is a gossip that Microsoft invested more than $10 billion into OpenAI's ChatGPT tool. And as I mentioned before, now it is implemented in Bing searching engine. Now ChatGPT was presented on Apple's latest smartphone, iPhone 16, right? So even though Microsoft is telling that actually there is a possibility, if you are using Microsoft OneDrive, and if you're working on specific thesis on your kind of doing research, and if you're uploading some kind of documents, then there will be a possibility in the near future to tick the box and say to artificial intelligence that you can scan and you are able, you would allow, the artificial intelligence ChatGPT will be able to see what is your field of interest, and it is going to help you with your research. It is going to help you with your work. So yeah, actually, I have never was thinking that I never thought that I will be sticking with the Microsoft products, because yeah, they had some issues. I don't like, PowerPoint. Yeah, we use probably Excel, we use Microsoft Word, but yeah, upcoming, the concept of upcoming methods and implementation of AI it's bizarre. I'm really pleased. So yeah, AI is your teaching assistant, and I would say that sometimes we just can think of how to simplify tasks and create new experiences. And daily, I am, constantly thinking when, the teaching year is over and we have a summer break, and in the autumn we are starting over. Sometimes I don't want to open those old slides. I don't want to talk about the old stuff because I feel that I just repeating myself. And for me, it's not interesting. I feel like I'm an avatar, who is standing in front of the audience and just speaking, things to the students. And sometimes you see, their attention span. You see how they look at their smartphones or how they open the computers or do, the other stuff during your lecture. So sometimes I just want to challenge myself, how I can, make my lecture, interesting. And actually, I was thinking, how to do it. And sometimes we need to have assistance. We should have some kind of a partner. But yeah, professors probably they have assistant professors who help them with the lectures, with the articles and other, academic issues. But like if we take like a standard, like a common lecturer, we're all alone. We're all alone, and I would say that sometimes by creating, our own chat GPTs, our own algorithms, it might help us to save time and to change, the way of how we teach. So I remember that, in economics faculty, I had a group of 30 people, and they had to do the presentation of the specific case, and they had to find a solution of how to solve the problem. And I prepared the task, and the final result for the final result that the student had to upload on the Moodle, it was approximately like from 20 to 30, 35 slides. So you can multiply like 30 students. Let's take like average 25 slides. And in every single slide, we have a lot of text. So actually, it's a really time-consuming thing. And yeah, it would probably take me like 8 to 10, probably 12 hours to read everything. So what I did, so I created, I created my own algorithm. I uploaded, all of the slides of my lectures, description, the module descriptor. What else? And I asked, could ChatGPT help me to value the student work? So I uploaded one PDF, the other PDF, the third PDF. Then I uploaded totally 5. And I asked to value in a specific, order, and to look into the specific things. So I created the rule as well. And from the first side, I was unhappy. So I had to adjust, the rules. I had to adjust the prompt. And after like 10 minutes or so, I've got the answer that I wanted to get. So even though I've got the personalized letter to every single student in the end of the evaluation, and I was able to send directly for the students. And yeah, so the evaluation of the 30 student work for the ChatGPT, it took 15 minutes totally. And in the end, I asked, could you, now rank probably the best work or top 3 best works that you can, even though increase the mark if you want to. And ChatGPT did. And yeah, actually, it took me longer. It took me like 1 hour to just input the markings into the university system. But I was actually really happy. So yeah, I didn't do it blindly. I read it. I read, the comments. I wanted to see, the weak and strong parts of the assignment, and I was really, really happy. So I remember that in one, staff meeting, in the teaching staff meeting, I told that I did this thing, and colleague, and she was sitting nearby and close to me, and she was really, I saw that she was really pissed. She said that how could you, you're supposed to do it by yourself. Why you are implementing, AI in your work? It's illegal. Did you tell to the have you told to the students that you did it? And I was like trying to, I was thinking, what should I answer to her question? But then head of department stood up and she just asked her, do you tell students that you are using Google? Do you tell students that you're using calculator? Why? Why not? So yeah, and everybody started to laugh. So then we discussed more, and I realized that 60% of the tutors in that meeting, they tried to use different language models for the tasks, for the assessments. And of course, they had different experiences, but I would say this was a really interesting thing to see, how people react, and it's normal thing as well. Okay, so what we are going to explore now. So I would like to introduce you with 3 tools that we are going to cover, for today's workshop. So first is Perplexity. So I'm going to share, you right here the links. The other one is Quillbot. So you can see that I'm pasting the links in the Microsoft Teams chat. And the third one is Leonardo AI. Okay, right here. So, okay, let's start from the first one. So Perplexity, it's a really interesting tool. It's actually kind of a real-time Q&A, like questions and answers for the students' research. And sometimes, I'm not sure how about you, but I don't know everything. For me, it's a kind of a complicated thing. And usually I get some questions during the lectures that I don't know how to answer. And yeah, sometimes it's kind of a complicated thing to do it, but in the, in the real time, Perplexity chatbot, it helps us to find the quick answers for the student questions. Quillbot, it's the other tool that we're going to try today. Is it helps to supercharge students' writing. So we're going to see how it goes today as well. And the Leonardo AI, of course, it is named by the famous, artist Leonardo da Vinci. And it's a really good competitor to the, I would say, Midjourney, to the DALL-E 3, and it gives the big variety of the presets, algorithms, adjustments, and yeah, if you want to use Midjourney, you have to subscribe. But Leonardo, actually, it gives some coins, some tokens that you can use, daily, and for non-professional use, non-professional. By saying non-professional, I mean that non-professional is not for the creating, stock images, stock imagery, or selling your, AI creations, your AI created visuals on the market. So for the lectures, I think it's more than enough. Okay, so yeah, let's get practical. And the first thing, probably the task number 1 for you guys is open Quillbot. Let's start from the Quillbot and try to rephrasing a sentence or paragraph. So yeah, let's try to do it. And if you could, for example, like I wrote right here, take a complex sentence and simplify it for the better student understanding. So if you could just type into the Microsoft Teams chat what kind of input in the Quillbot you entered and what kind of answer you've got back. So it would be really interesting to see how it goes. And yeah, if you could type in just a short comment, are you happy with it or not? So Quillbot, and try to rephrase the sentence or the paragraph of your choice. So let's spend a couple of minutes and see how it goes. I'm really eager to see your results on the MS Teams chat. Okay, I have the answer from Katrina. So she did the input. Also, siblings share aspects in common in the family constellation. The psychological situation of each child is different from that of the others and due to birth order. And the result was siblings may have certain similarities within the family constellation, but birth order means that every child's psychological state is unique. Okay, Katerina, so it's not my field. Could you just give a short comment of are you happy with the result or no? Okay, we have even more incoming. Maria said, okay, the result. This paper aims to investigate the role that visual content plays into the process of base commodification and touristification that are sped up and triggered by online platforms. Okay, Maria still sounds kind of a bit complicated, but I think it's the input text was even more challenging. Mora, if we culture muscles taken from the animal during the exercise and we add the tissue culture as a spiritant condition medium, okay. And this paper aims to investigate the role of visual content. Yeah, so, the idea is sometimes by just taking kind of a difficult or different let's say, approach or know how to put it in one slide, how to simplify the text. For example, if you are, if you are specializing in the specific field, sometimes you don't need to have the whole paragraph on your slides, right? You just have to have like a kind of a catchy sentence, like a phrase. But sometimes we don't have to lose time by thinking of how to put it simply. And I think that Quillbot, it's a really great tool to simplify our text, to rephrase it and to use it for our slides, or even sometimes for a conclusion when we do the abstract for Moodle platform, right? When you have to, kind of leave us information for our students, what was all the lecture about. So I think it's a kind of also really neat tool to use. Okay, Katerina, it is certainly more readable. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, Albina says, how does Quillbot contribute for real educational result? How does student improve personal writing skills? Yeah, so it's a good question, actually, and we could say that it's a tool. On that one, on one hand, it helps to probably avoid the plagiarism, right? But sometimes, for example, if we are writing in the APA 6 style or in Chicago style, sometimes we just have like a phrase from a scientific article that we need to use kind of a specific phrase. It helps to format the text. So there is a lot of actually not only the Quillbot but the other platforms that helps you to put and save time. Those grinding moments. You just can't avoid them by typing it by that. Okay. Yeah, I think it was a great thing, and if you find Quillbot useful, I would recommend you to play around, and it helps a lot. Actually, sometimes I use it for my slides, how to simplify the text, and I just remember that there is one also really great tool how to start from, how to not use a Google, because for me Google, it's really of course they are going to implement artificial intelligence as well. They are going to do the improvements because the competition is really tight. But guys, I want to share with you a really interesting tool. But just before that, could you give me kind of a topic that you want to make, let's say, lecture? Just type in a couple of words for me. So the website that I find really useful, and it helps me to find the discoveries. It is called Explorer Globe Engineer. Those three different words. Okay. Mora said organoids. I don't know what is that, so I'm going to put organoids, and yeah, just type in, hit search button, and we will see how it goes. So this platform, I'm using free version. It's a default version, as you see. We have a Pro Turbo, we have Pro Research, but actually it leads us to specific websites with the brain organoids, kidney organoids, so it's a biology, right? Yeah, and we can even go further, and it's like a visual search. We see not the text, not as the usual Google search as we do, right? But we see a visual search, and we see visuals, images, imagery. We can see challenges. Of course, we can go and let's say to the functional or scalability. We can go inside. We can open the link, and it leads us to the specific websites, to the specific articles. For this particular case, I just opened the frontiersin.org. We can see the scientific article that we can download. Of course, probably we have to sign in, but nevertheless, it's a really, really interesting and helpful tool that I'm using from time to time to discover the information. Okay, let's use the other keyword. Helen said that she's interested in prospective design. So yeah, what is the prospective design as well? Adaptability, scalability, scenario planning, interactive prototyping, systems of thinking systems, urban planning. Helen, does it make sense? Does it ring a bell? All of these keywords that I'm showing right here on your topic. Can you just comment? Okay, Albina also have a question. Am I using the extended version for the Quillbot? No, I'm using just a regular one. Okay, Mora says for Organist it was good. Thank you, Mora. And Helen says, yes, I have to teach English to these students specializing in that. So sometimes we can type in not only like one word, but we can type in like a phrase or like a paragraph, and we will see where it will lead us. But the thing is that probably I have experience in design field, and I have like 8 years in advertising. I was working as an art director, so what I had to do daily, weekly, day to day from one day to other day, it was a mood boards. So actually for me, the visual search, it helps a lot. Of course, it's not for everyone. I believe that not everybody loves this website, but Explorer Globe Engineer, I just wanted to share, guys, with you with such a great tool, with such a great platform. And nevertheless, what I have to mention even more, that if you are going to sign up, there's a possibility, of course, you have to pay extra, but it's possible to connect to your ChatGPT account, and then just imagine, what you can get from the Pro or Turbo, or the, I mean, like Pro research engines here as well. So yeah, 85 years, no, yearly. It's not to $85 yearly. It's not a big amount if you are doing your research daily. Okay, I think we can get back. We can get back to our slides, and let's move on to the task number 2. Okay, so task number 2 is use Perplexity and to find the quick facts of your class. So yeah, my example is to search for a fun fact related to your subject, because yeah, sometimes we have to leave the students with emotion, because emotions, sometimes people, they don't remember what you told, what you've said, but they will remember how you make them feel. So if you could make students laugh during your lectures or to be shocked, I say that it was a really great lecture. So let's try to do it. So once again, Perplexity, I'm going to share once again, the website on the MS Teams. And now it's a task for you guys to type in some kind of look for a really fun fact related to your subject or topic. So yeah, let's make a few minutes break and let's see how it goes. So as you can see, Perplexity platform is also really simple. When you open the website, the landing page is really simple. It asks you to just type in, anything, ask for anything. So you just can type in your topic and ask to find, the fun fact about it. So let's see how it goes. For every case, for every single step, for every day, tiny small task of yours that you will have. So yeah, for the edit PDFs, JPEG to the PDF, merge PDFs, all of those tiny things. Of course, we have the issues, the issues if you are working with your slides, anything, there is no probably copyright issues or laws, but of course don't forget that you are going to share the information. Images, writing, videos, files, conversions, Excel to XML, CSV to Excel, and vice versa. Even though writing tools, there are so many writing tools and opportunities with a tiny wow, how to rewrite, how to explain it, how to write it. Article generator, tone voice, you name it, So there are so many algorithms already prepared for you, post writer, TikTok script writer. So all the different algorithms. And in today's world, probably a successful tutor should use all the platforms, to be on all the platforms, on the Instagram, on the Facebook, on the LinkedIn, and on the TikTok as well. So it's up to you guys. I'm not going to cover all of the information that you can, all of the tasks and possibilities that you can do with a tiny wow, but I hope that it helps. And yeah, don't forget to play around and just to find what is useful in your case, in the specific your case. Okay, so ethical considerations in AI, in the artificial intelligence. So why should we care? It's a broad question. I believe that you already have spoken or heard some presentations, or maybe you've had all of these discussions about the artificial intelligence. So why should we care? Why it is so important? Yeah, so on one hand, as I already mentioned, that artificial intelligence is a really powerful tool, right? And it's crucial to understand its limitations. It can significantly improve our efficiency, and I've showed it with the different tasks, with the different tools. but there is some risks that sometimes you can it's we don't handle it responsibly, right? So sometimes we just can get the answer, and of course the platform would say that, you know, if the answer is generated, that the author of the answer should be you. But sometimes we can get, you know, if you would check, for example, in the BMU in Lithuania, we are using Oxico platform. So sometimes, you know, it's, I remember when you give a task for the students and you say that you tell the students that you can't use, you know, any artificial intelligence. And if you are going to be caught, you are not going to be assessed at all. So when I upload, you know, the students' work, some of them, they do the genuine paperwork, but the other part of the students, they just typing in the prompts, they're using, you know, different language models. And Oxico platform, actually, I think it successfully, you know, it finds, you know, those cases. So sometimes I get from 80 to 100%, you know, possibility, the chance that the text, that the paperwork was generated by AI. So yeah, why should we care? I think it has the limitations, and yeah, biases. I would say it's for the instance, artificial intelligence, it can reinforce the biases, and if the data used to train artificial intelligence models and the big language models and the big data that I mentioned before is biased, so the outcomes will also be biased. So yeah, I think that this could lead us to the unfair, to the unfair treatment to the students based on race, probably gender, some kind of a socio-economic status, and probably other issues. So we have to be really careful. You know, we have to be really careful when we talk about, you know, why should we care? Why should we care of the ethical considerations in AI? Sometimes I really love to compare our big language models, our chatbots like ChatGPT, to Genie. Yeah, Genie and the lamp, you know, the famous legend or the Arabic tale. Yeah, so the genie got out of the lamp and we can't do anything about it. You know, we can't push it back. You know, so now we have to live with it. And yeah, there will be some consequences, but yeah, I would say from the tutor's perspective, from the lecturer's perspective, from the, you know, academic perspective, we have to be really concerned of what kind of you know, answers we get, and not just to use them blindly on our paperwork, on our, you know, scientific researches or our slides. So what we also need to consider is, I would say, it's privacy. And artificial intelligence systems, actually, they collect and they process massive amounts of data. Even in the OpenAI ChatGPTs, you can choose between, you know, different plans, different subscriptions. So I have the Plus, but there is a team, you know, membership, and on the team membership, actually, it says that it's for the businesses probably as well. But yeah, it's not safe. It's unsafe, and you have to be really cautious when you are pasting some, you know, sensitive data of yours, and this could lead to unfair treatment. It could lead to, you know, AI systems to, when they collect, you know, all the information data, we must ensure that this data is protected and used ethically. And yeah, if we look at the, let's say, IT field and the security field, so the weakest part in it is human being. And there are so many examples when, you know, someone who is using, for example, voice messages, they, if their account, for example, if one day, for example, Meta, Facebook's Messenger will be, you know, flagged or hacked, all of the voice messages that you've recorded, it would be like as a source to bad people, to the hackers, to use your specific tone, voice, and use it against you, against your relatives and other stuff. So yeah, I think it's every single time you should care. You should be really careful and care about what you post, what you upload, and what kind of outcome it gives you. So the question is, so how to be sure? Yeah, so there is I would say there in upcoming like 5 or 10 years in European Union there will be funding for the higher institutions to create their own chatbots, to create their own big language learning modules. And if it's possible, I would recommend that if there is a possibility to create your own chatbot, your own language model with your own databases and to save your data. And the last thing that probably must be covered is the transparency. Transparency is another, I would say, critical issue because many artificial intelligence systems, especially in education, they work as a, how to put it, like a black boxes, and it's usually often unclear how they arrive at their decisions making in. It's difficult to understand or challenge the outputs, but in a classroom, this could mean that that the lack of clarity on why student receives certain feedback or grades from an AI tool. So yeah, this is a kind of a challenge, and it's probably I am not the first one who tried and just to save some time and did the last example that I gave you with the assessing the student work. But I will think that this kind of a transparency, it should be. I remember, my colleague when she asked, did I told the students? I didn't, but I think it is a case, it is an issue. I should be more transparent, and I would say that, maybe even sometimes it's better that the artificial intelligence AI tool will assess your work because it will be transparent. I'm not. It is not going to judge you by your looks or how you spoke, how you behaved during the lectures and other stuff. So yeah, these are my thoughts. Key challenges, probably what we have. So bias, privacy, transparency, how the AI operates, how the systems operate. So bias, I would say that AI systems are trained on actually, as we know, the historical data. And for example, if you don't have the account for the ChatGPT, if you are not subscribed to the ChatGPT, you will be strict to the specific data. If this data, for example, reflects on the societal inequities, or AI can unintentionally find these biases or adopt those biases as well. So let's think of the kind of a example. I would say that, let's say that an AI tool that evaluates student essays might score certain writing styles or crucial expressions lower by simply because the training data is biased. So that means that if you want to assess your student work, you have to upload all of your data, right? To get the the accurate marking. So also the other solution would be to regular auditing, regular reassessment of AI systems to identify and correct the possible biases, ensuring more fair and, I would say, equitable outcomes, right? The other challenge is privacy, right? So privacy, and even though if the OpenAI, for example, corporation, they state or say that we are not going to use any data, or we are not going to learn our language model if you are using the other plan, which is called Teams, which is the other subscription method. But you'll never know, you'll never show, because now we're living in the now we're in information age. So information is crucial. With the consumerism and everything is all around it, and data is crucial. There is a really good, I remember it, maybe I could, if somebody haven't seen, there's a really great documentary on the Netflix. It's kind of old, 2020, like 4 years old, but yeah, it speaks not about the artificial intelligence, but it speaks about the algorithm. It's called Social Dilemmas, so I recommend you to watch it. And yeah, it probably might give you a broader sense of what we might expect if we talk about the thing in the privacy as well. So yeah, this raises the questions like, where is this data stored, right? And who has access to it? How long is it kept, and how it might be used? So I remember that one of my students said, "Tutor, have you tried to Google in the ChatGPT, like look for the information that ChatGPT about yourself, like what ChatGPT tells you about yourself?" And I never did. And it was actually interesting to see, what information it has about ourselves. So yeah, you can do it, and I'm not sure, are you going to be happy when you will see the answer, or maybe you're going to be upset? So it's kind of interesting topic as well. So what we need to do, we need to ensure that the students and the data privacy is protected, and probably it's not it's not in only our hands. It's probably in the hands of the universities, academies, college administrations. We probably speak to the rectors about this kind of issue. And the privacy is a crucial thing, the GDPR thing as well. So yeah, I remember I have a friend who is the IT specialist. He is a programmer, and actually, when in 2022, in the end of 2022, in the beginning of December, what they had to do, they were asked to sign additional paper to their working contract, just to ensure that they are not going to give out or copy paste their actual code to the big language models, to the chatbots. So this is kind of, it's a really crucial thing to hear from the IT industry. That this is, even though if they say that they are not recording you, or they are not using your data, we shouldn't be 100% sure. And yeah, so probably transparency. Few more thoughts on the transparency. I would say it is vital that AI systems used in education, it should be transparent. Like, teachers and students actually need to understand how decisions are made. And in Lithuania, we have, a couple of universities. We're not a big country, but some of the universities, they did their own, let's say, manifests on how they should work and how the students should work on the artificial intelligence. Some other universities, they are still struggling with writing how to implement and how to work with the AI, and they leave it to the tutors. And from my perspective, I think it's wrong, because then we can have inequalities from the different modules, from the different faculties, and we can create different experiences for the same students. So they are going to be really angry and pissed off, that because they would say that one tutor let us use chatbots, and the other said that it's important that you can't use. So yeah, I would say that the probably open communication about the artificial intelligence role and probably in decision making can help. It can help build trust and it can allow teachers to probably intervene when necessary. So yeah, it's a kind of a complicated thing on one hand, but on the other hand, I think it asks to have a big discussion. And yeah, even though what I've met in the end of the semester during the exams, actually what students do, they are using language models, chatbots, to help them answer the exam questions. What I've started to do when the big language models, chatbots appeared, I just switched back to the paperwork, to the classical, test, to the open questions, to the A, B, C, D, true or false, and everything. And most of the students, they said that they forgot how to write by hand. Yeah, so all of these things probably it asks for discussion, and I have prepared the question: would you trust AI to give a feedback on the creative student work? Yeah, so it's a kind of a controversy thing, and let me just to put it on the Slido platform, and if you could vote. So guys, let's vote, and the question is here: would you trust AI to give feedback on creative student work? And let's get back to answer my question. Would you trust AI to give feedback on creative student work? 18 people out of 43. So less than a half. Hopefully more than a half would vote. Okay, 20 people already. We need extra 4. If someone who haven't voted yet, if you could guys just join, this little platform and hit the question yes, no, or maybe. Okay, 22. Let's make it more than half. We need 24. Okay, 22, I think it's that's what we can get. Okay, so 23% said yes, 32% said no, but 45% said maybe. So yeah, we have a chance. And I would say that probably I would stand for maybe. I would agree with you guys that it's worth trying, and yeah, I think it's worth of trying. Okay, thank you for voting. Okay, we have to cover 3 more things. So real world scenarios, right? So let's imagine we have scenario number 1. Imagine that AI suggests grades based on a student performance. How would you handle bias in this system? So also, how confident would you feel using AI for grading? Let's try with one more questionnaire. So let's go into the poll on the Slido, and how would you vote for it? How confident would you feel using AI for grading? So this is like an open, there is no choice, like you can just type in your answers. It would be interesting to see how you guys are feeling about this. What is your opinion? Rather hesitant. Okay. Okay, let's wait for a few more answers. Okay. I'd use combination, my evaluation, then compare with AI evaluation, and possibly submit both to the students to see what they think as an experiment. Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I did it myself. And as I mentioned before, there's a big threat that in upcoming years, there will be no need of tutors. But of course, we will see. I believe that, you know, the human being is totally different thing from the robots, from the androids, but we will see. Okay, the other opinion, not very confident until I know how to spot the bias and how to minimize it. Yeah, so I would say we should work daily on that. We should work daily, and we should, even though, for example, when you create the ChatGPT account, I'm not sure, maybe not all of you know, but it is possible to adjust how the AI, the chatbot, will have to behave. So you can create the specific rules. So it helps a lot. Okay, the other question, thank you for the previous one. No confidence, I will grade myself. Okay. Okay, the other question, the other answer, sorry, I will not use it directly, but you suggested it after a period of refinement of the tool, so we can check that it grades accordingly. It's our set standards. Yeah, I would say you shouldn't use it if you don't agree, if you won't agree with it, if you don't agree with it. You should be really careful, like how you're answering them. If you are agree with it, then maybe if you, let's say, if you can clone yourself, and if the AI robot or a chatbot can pretend that it is you, for like this week, I know that a lot of the people who are using ChatGPT or other big language models, they are using to write the emails. But actually, I have a student and he has diagnosed ADHD. And when he's writing me a letter, the letter is really, really long, and sometimes there are so many questions and so many opportunities and so many things. And when I was reading, I was like, oh my gosh, oh no, how come, like, how should I put it? How should I, write everything down? So what I did, actually, it took me like 2 years, and only this week I uploaded my module descriptor. I uploaded my module tasks, assignments, everything, and then I said, look, I have the student who is working on this project, and he is diagnosed with ADHD, and for me, it's a really tricky thing to answer it really correctly, politely, in a way, like, because he is having some issues. And yeah, now what I do, I only type in, I just copy paste his email, I'm getting back the answer, I'm editing the answer, and I'm replying with the help of the ChatGPT, because it helps me a lot. Okay, so this was one of my examples, like how I use it. Yeah, the other answer is not much. Need to practice myself first. Totally agree with it. Just go for it. I think it's worth. It is worth. Right now, not very, but I'm open to if I gain enough knowledge and experience. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's try. If you won't try, you'll never know. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for the answers. And the scenario number 2 that we have, artificial intelligence helps students write essays. How do you ensure students' creativity isn't lost? So yeah, actually, I remember that when we spoke about the calculator, so when the calculator as a technology appeared, mathematicians, professors of the mathematics, they made a transparency and they marched all around the universities. And if you Google, for the mathematics mathematicians protest against the calculator, so they wrote that we're going to be dumb. But I think that we are living in the really interesting period of time, and we are marching into the field of knowledge. And of course, it's probably the problem is that on the internet there are so many, there's so much information, and it's so complicated to find is it true or false. But I believe that the technological problem right now is that we can't have the general artificial intelligence. We're playing with only with the bots, with the chatbots, with the language models, but it's not the genuine, the actual general artificial intelligence. And the issue that we're having right now is the energy. So we need to find, the resource for the energy. And scientists, they are developing, the new power plants, not the atomic ones, but the other that would give you a really big boost energy of the big boost of the energy that might be consumed by the big artificial intelligence. And the other scientists, what I've discovered, that they are really threatened by the not non-democratical countries. That what would happen if non-democratic countries would create their own general artificial intelligences, and what kind of consequences we would have in the Western countries, Western cultures. So yeah, I think that going back to the question, I would say that in my humble opinion, I would say that it is complicated, but it is possible to be controlled. And I would say that in some tasks, we should say for the students that they must use the AI tools. And for some tasks, for some assignments, we should say that you can't use any of the tools. You have to do it by yourself. You have to do it by yourselves, because then you would see where is the information, or where is the lack or the skill lack you find in yourselves. And then maybe, just maybe, you would be able to find the answer of how you can do it by yourself or by help of the AI tools. So I would say that if we look back into the history, for example, when photography technology appeared, part of the painters, they thought that, the painting is going to die, because why would anyone would like to spend their time, and why would anyone would like to to see the real painting if you can do it by the technology, and it's more accurate, it's more precise, it's 100% like a copy of the reality, right? But the time passed, and now we see that that the painting is with us. It isn't dead, and the photography is with us as well. So I would say that part of the students or the people would find really nice thing to have, the help of the artificial intelligence, but the part of it would avoid AI as they can. So I would say that it is possible to do it. But for example, me myself, I had a dream to create a board game, but I'm not good in numbers. I'm not good in the counting all the possibilities. And I was willing to create the card game, but I wanted, to do it, but I am lacking of the resources of human beings who would help me to do it, and I probably should pay them money to help it. But now I am creating a board game with a ChatGPT, and it helps me to count all the, all the possibilities, and it helps me to balance the game. So yeah, I think it depends on the scenario of where we want to go to. All right, guys. So we have like 17 minutes left, and I think it's a good time to go to your questions and answers. So let's answer the questions. You still have some time. Go to the question and answer poll, and there type in your questions and rank the questions, and I will try to read those questions and try to answer them. Okay, so the first question with the 4 likes, with the 4 votes, is what's your favorite AI tool? So there are so many tools. There are so many, so many great tools. But for the language model, yes, I use ChatGPT. I create my own ChatGPTs, my own algorithms. For example, if you have, like, let's say, if you have your favorite YouTube channel or podcast, you can download all of the transcripts, or your favorite TED Talks. You can download all of the transcripts. You can upload to your chat with your ChatGPT or with your chatbot, and you can tell them the specific rule, how you want to transform or write the information that you provide with. So actually, it helps a lot. And sometimes, even though I am really shocked with myself or with the mind and the thought or idea that the human brain generates or gives, so sometimes I just find, the really interesting ways of how to use ChatGPTs in daily tasks, in teaching tasks and other stuff. So answering your questions with AI tool, I would probably say that, yeah, I have prepared just a short list, for you guys right here. So just a short list of the tools that you might use in the, for your educations, and I will ask to I could put it right now in the in the chat that you could download it directly. Let me see. No, it doesn't let me to upload, but yeah, no, it doesn't let me to upload. But then maybe I will ask
after the seminar we can share with the participants.
Yeah, Rasa. So I will share with Rasa, and Rasa is going to share with you guys. So this is the the list that you can probably use some of the tools. So basically, yeah, I use the ChatGPT. Okay, thanks for the question. Let's get back to the other poll. And yeah, good morning. What AI tools do you advise to use during the classes? Many thanks. So I believe that I already have covered that. I would say that the Mentimeter is a great tool. Slido is a great tool as well for you guys. If you want to create the podcast that I've already tried yesterday, so the tool, it is called, let me just find just 1 minute. The tool is called all right, it's right here. Let me type into your yeah, it is called Notebook LM Google. So it's really, I was really shocked, when you just input just your kind of a phrase or document or scientific, PDF, and it creates, a discussion between two people, male and female, with a male and female voice, and you can adjust it. You can adjust the speed. You can add some extra questions, and it took me like 2 minutes, and I've got like 17 minutes of the podcast. So I was really shocked and pleased to see. So yeah, just imagine where it can lead us. Okay, the third question: what tool are you using on this presentation? Because we don't see the slides, we see the a tree with the topics. Yeah, so it's a free plane. I believe that somebody has already shared it on the.
Yes, Augustine, I shared the link and also the name of this.
Yeah, so this is the free plane, and actually the free plane is a really nice platform. Actually, you can use it on Apple, on the Apple production, like MacBooks, and you can use on the PCs as well. So it's a really great tool. Okay, I find that ChatGPT is making up specific articles and some books in such tasks, improve classes. Any way around this? Yeah, as far as I understand your question and your concern, I think it's it depends on the prompts. And most of the people, they don't know how to put, how to make the prompt work. And actually, I would say that if you haven't tried any of language models like ChatGPT or Gemini, for example, if you have the Google account, you can use the Gemini for free. The same goes with the OpenAI ChatGPT, but of course, I don't recommend, first of all, go and pay or buy a subscription. I would say that you should first try, the trial, the free versions. You should first try the free versions of the platforms, and only then, when you see that it is lacking, the answers, or the answers doesn't go in line with your questions, then you should probably try and subscribe. But first of all, when you would go to the ChatGPT, I think that the first prompt, the first question is to ask ChatGPT 10 questions about you that it would help you to understand how the ChatGPT can be helpful in your case. So sometimes it's just that it's that simple, that you can ask ChatGPT, please ask me 10 questions about me that would help you to understand how you can help me with my work or my daily tasks or with the education as well. So this is a really great starting point for you guys, just to to get to know how it's all of the things work. Okay, next question. Can you tell us again what you use to prepare your slides? Free, plain. Okay. What do you mean you wrote your algorithm to correct the PDFs, files, and presentations on the platform? Did you wrote prompts on AI tool or the actual script? Really good question. So on the ChatGPT platform, you can create your own ChatGPTs. So that means if you have daily tasks every single time, by the way, yeah, the issue that all of the chatbots, all of the language models have is the hallucinations. So sometimes if you're using the same chat for a really long period of time, what you can get? You can get, the hallucinations and the really wrong and weird answers. So that's why they've created, their individual GPTs. So sometimes if you need to create some specific particular task, you can upload some rules, PDFs, you can write it down. And as NVIDIA CEO once said in the conference, that, every single human being from the school, they should be taught how to, the programming language, to how to write code. But everything is going to change really quickly, because the main programming language is going to be our native language. So you can program it with your own language, with your own words. So yeah, just find the information how to create your own GPTs. So it helps a lot. It helps a lot, really. Okay, next question. Which tool do you use to identify AI content in student assignments? It's Oxico. Okay, let me share. We are using Oxico. This one. Right, let's move on. Which tools you are using for students' works assessment assignments? Okay, the same question. Thank you. Can you give us some tips for foreign language writing class and integrating AI? Actually, me myself, I'm using DeepL, deep learning translator, and it helps me to, it's a machine translator, but it's way better than Google Translate. It helps me a lot. For foreign language writing, I would say that it might be used on the specific GPTs as well. So you should look into that as well. Okay, a few more questions. A list of these tools with a one-line description would be very useful to have. Yeah, I think that the PDF that we already agreed will be shared by Rasa. Okay. Where in Quillbot's a paraphraser or flow? Okay, I think we already covered that. The opinion. I disagree. It's confusing with teachers' different instructions about AI use. It all depends on their goal and exam methods, but it shouldn't be explicit from start. Yeah, I actually agree with your opinion, but it should be tailored, adjusted to your specific needs. Because just imagine if you are just typing in one prompt, it will lead to the generic answer. And the generic answer, it might be like a hallucination. It might be nonsense. So we have to be really strict. We have to tailor our algorithms. Yeah, and we have to improve ourselves and our algorithms daily. So yeah, this is the case. But yeah, I hope it helps. And the last question, are you using ChatGPT or ChatGPT for education? I'm using just the ChatGPT Plus plan. Let me double check it. Yeah. My plan. Yeah, it's a personal. It's a plus. And there is a team plan. What do you mean like an education? GPT for education. I have never heard about it. So I'm using just a personal $20 per month plus taxes. So I was thinking that maybe I should, stop during the summer. But actually, when I'm preparing for my lectures and for my slides, and all the information, it helps me daily a lot. And by the way, there is a really nice, possibility to speak orally with the ChatGPT, and they have presented this year this function. You can choose between the male and female voices, and even though when you are in the car driving, you're using your free hand, equipment. And for example, just imagine that you are driving to the conference and you want to once again to do a small rehearsal, like a repetition for your pitch or for your stand up. And yeah, you can do that you can train yourself orally with a ChatGPT voice assistant. So it's a great tool as well. Okay, so there is the OpenAI ChatGPT for education. Thank you for the link. I will look into that closely. All right, guys. So I think, yeah, so the discussion points is probably we have covered most of them. Practical applications of AI, concerns, new ideas for your classroom. I hope that you find something particularly in your case useful, I hope. And just a small follow-up for the last 3 minutes. So the takeaway, I would say that the AI tool are here, and we have to learn how to work with them. And when we have, for example, in Lithuania, we have a big gap with, let's say, pensioners who are afraid to delete the internet. I would say we're going to have even bigger gap with the people who are not going to adopt artificial intelligence tools. So yeah, just keep in that, and let's keep working. Let's keep training and teaching ourselves. For the post session, I would say that you're going to receive the tools and the links from Rasa to explore. I can share my slides as well, so there is nothing special with it. So I can share the slides, and I'm going to zip it in one folder and with that PDF. And for the last thing, I just want to thank you guys for participating, for participating, for giving the questions, for discussion. And if you are interested, I'm really eager to follow you back. And if you could just connect me via LinkedIn, let's keep in touch. And thank you so much.